Hey, how's it going? So this is my funny eBay seller story. So we sell photographs all over the world. Yeah, everywhere. And so about a year ago, this guy buys a photo from the town I grew up in on Long Island. So I looked at the street, and I knew what street it was, and I knew a couple of people that lived on that street. So it was Ren Drive. So I remembered that the kid I was bar mitzvahed with, he lived on Ren Drive. So I emailed this guy Eric, and Eric emails me back. Oh, yeah, I email him back. Eric, and I tell him, this guy bought something from Ren Drive, and I told him the address. So Eric tells me, well, that was the people we sold our house to. So I couldn't believe it because I had been in that house. So I emailed this guy. His name was Howard, and I said, Howard, you're not going to believe this, but I was in your house before you ever were, and I'd only been in that house one time for no more than 10 minutes, and it would have been in probably in late 1973 or maybe very early 74. I can't remember. I either had to drop off something to this guy Eric, the kid I was bar mitzvahed with, or I had to pick up something. But I remembered that when you walked in the house, there was this huge staircase right in front of you. And I remember what it looked like upstairs. I remembered, where all the bedrooms were, and so I told this to this guy Howard. I mean, it was hilarious. I mean, what are the odds that that something like that's going to happen? I've had a couple of other, strange things, on eBay in terms of dealing with people who I had contact with in the past. There was a guy who bought a few photos from us, and I recognized his name from college. He was in my class in college, but I didn't know him. He had an unusual name, but it was him. And there was a woman in Michigan who she worked at a Holocaust center in Michigan, and I had spoken to her previously. I knew who she was, and she bought something from us. And trying to think the closest person to me where I live who bought something else was a half a mile. A place a museum where I walk by frequently. There were famous people that bought stuff from us, but yeah, I'll keep them off for this. But some pretty well-known people. And anyway, I just thought you'd be entertained. So